Welcome to the Dumb Dominos podcast. As always, I'm Chase.
Josh.
Zach.
And today we're going to be doing House of the Dragon Episode 4. Josh, take it away.
Me? Alright, I'll start this. I like this episode. I do think it dragged a little bit in some scenes, in particular the
It dragged?
I don't want to say
You thought it dragged?
I don't want to say it.
I thought it
Yeah, let's talk about other things
the
first before you
the
throw that out in the
relations.
first minute.
Okay, yeah. Let's get into other stuff first. Okay, so we started off.
Well, there was like a semi time jump in a way, right? It's kind of like that because now all of a sudden Damon, he's in King's Landing.
I think it's 6 months to a year.
Something like that,
Yeah.
because in the last episode he got shot with like 2 arrows.
And now he has a haircut.
He's got
and
a haircut.
as Josh would say, he still doesn't have his eyebrows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gone.
I think they're just bleached.
They
Josh.
never grow back. They just don't grow back. He must have lost them in a fire.
It's a joke between us, but I think they're just bleach blonde.
Yeah. They're just really
They're
bright.
like Hulk-
Or
they're
they're,
like
not there.
I think they're like Hulk Hogan's mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm.
But there's been some sort of time jump, and he's back in King's Landing after being named King of the Narrow Sea.
Yeah, I mean, they just went over in the last episode when he conquered the Stepstones and they had that significant win.
And the queen's no longer pregnant again.
Yeah.
She was pregnant in the last episode.
But they didn't
not
show a baby. They didn't
Yeah,
say
they
if
did.
it did they?
Yeah, when
Yeah.
when
Well,
the
we
baby was
don't know if it's a
crying
boy or a
constantly.
girl.
Oh, that's fair.
But it doesn't matter. She's already had a boy now.
Well, I think it would matter if you had 2 sons
Mm.
and then Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
So. But he states that Corlys Velaryon did not come back to King's Landing, so it seems like there's still a grudge going on with the sea snake and the crown.
He
Yeah.
just can't get over it.
And he, in a big reveal, is going to wed his daughter
Mm-hmm.
to one of the leaders of the free cities.
Uh-huh.
So if he does that, the Essos, I think I'd like to point out to people that were casual, Westeros is the whole western continent, kind of like North America.
Mm-hmm.
And Essos is the whole eastern continent, kind of like Europe, Russia, Asia.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like Western Hemisphere and Eastern Hemisphere.
And in Essos, you have Bravos, Pentos, is for example.
yeah.
Bravos is in the north, Pentos is in the south on the sea, Volantis, you have Marine, where Daenerys was.
Yeah.
So all those are free cities, and as you've seen in the past, the lords of those free cities, they hire mercenary groups like the Sons of the Harpy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free city where the top lords are meddling in matters.
Yeah.
So if Corlys Velaryon weds to them, I mean, it's likely that they're going to have a whole continent united with dragons. Now, you tell me what you think about that.
It's very concerning. Yeah, concerning to
And it would
think about.
it would be in good interest of the free cities like Pentos, like Bravos,
Well, that would be the biggest war, right?
if they took over. I mean, they would conquer the world like Genghis Khan.
Has this ever happened in Game of Thrones lore? Like the two
Yes.
continents going to battle?
I don't know, because I'm
I
one of those guys that, like, I love the lore and I've read a lot of the books, but at the same time I try to slow myself down because I don't want to know everything, because it looks like we're getting a Marvel Cinematic Universe of Game of Thrones show, so I don't know. I don't want to know what's going to happen every turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
there's a friend of mine who read the entire series, as a lot of people do, and then the TV show comes, and said that it was, like, really hard to watch it knowing what was going to happen in the books.
Yeah.
Because either that did happen and you knew about it, or it didn't happen, and then you said, well, that's not how it happened in the books.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So it ruins the suspense.
Yeah,
That's what
the
you're saying.
surprise
And then it sets you up for disappointment
So-
when you don't get a scene that you couldn't
but
wait to
then
see.
again, like it's a lot of times it's changed. Like Game of Thrones, even in the good seasons, changed lore.
Mhm.
Like
Sir
Ned-
Barristan Selmy never died in the books.
Ned Stark, what was his wife's name?
Catelyn.
Yeah,
Catelyn.
she never died at the Red Wedding. She lived on afterwards.
Yeah, and Sir Barristan Selmy, a character that we actually loved, he didn't die.
Wow, I did not know that.
And then you can go over to, like, on Netflix, you can go over to the show The 100, and I can, without a shadow of a doubt, tell you in the final season of that did not match up with the finished books. They had the finished books, Josh, and they did not go that direction. And in my mind, I can, like, die peacefully knowing that I just said the book ending's what happened in the show. Like, I just banged that into my brain.
Yeah.
I was like, that's how it really ended. We're fine. So, what point did you want to hit on next?
Well, alright, so I think we're far enough in so we can start talking about it. So Daemon, he left Rhaenyra this little note, and it's like a secret passage in her room that she never knew about. I guess it's like a hidden door, secret door.
Secret passage in the room.
And she puts
had
on,
a map
like-
and a note.
Yeah, she puts on like commoner's clothes. It's late at night. She's about to go to bed.
Really reminiscent of Ciri in The Witcher.
Yeah.
Almost identical with the beanie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and she's
and
with the raggedy
White
clothes.
hair.
I didn't really want to compare the two, but it was identical to that Cirilla playing dice or whatnot.
Yeah.
Same concept. Her sneaking out. The only difference was she did it in the day as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she snuck out, and she started walking around, and she sees Daemon, and he's wearing like a big.
He looks like Severus Snape over there.
Yeah, and so he takes her into the city, into the actual King's Landing.
It's the cardinal sin of the rich and powerful, the royals, to put on the commoner's clothes and go down to the common streets.
Yeah, to meddle with the common folk, as it would be, and
they catch a show.
Yeah, so he's getting her drunk, like they're going and drinking, and he's showing her.
I don't think she was drunk. They only had one drink.
They're having a night on the town.
Yeah.
Also, there's the play I want to talk about real quick. Yeah, this little show, this little street show where someone's reenacting like Viserys and Rhaenyra and all
And who's
that.
going to be heir to the throne, pretty much.
As they do.
Making fun of Rhaenyra.
Yeah, and the guy or whoever's playing as Rhaenyra is like, oh yeah, I'm going to be queen, and then a bunch of the townsfolk is like, boo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that puts her in a little bad.
And then a guy's selling street tacos.
Yeah.
And she just grabs a handful, and Damon tells her, like, when we do this kind of thing, we pay for the food. And she just runs off.
Yeah. And
like,
he's
you
like,
spoiled brat.
and then he goes,
She doesn't know.
I'll get
She
her.
knew. No, she knew exactly what she was doing. Yeah, and one of the, was that one of the gold cloaks? Or was that just King, what was that?
I think it was just like a patroller.
As a guard, regardless.
Yeah, but was it one of the gold cloaks that are loyal to Damon? Because they all left.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Is that like a newly named gold cloak guy? Or?
I guess.
But what happened was...
I almost said gold cloaksman. Like
What?
the Kingsman.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He's a gold cloaksman. When I grow up one day, Father, I'm going to be a gold cloaksman.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. Okay, it's been a long day. But what a wild episode. I'm going to take over from that point. So they're having a great time, and you think, okay, cool, he's brought her out. He's let her see a little bit of the people. She's been in the palace her whole life.
Mhm.
But then they start walking down those stairs.
Yep.
And where we are? In the middle of a pleasure house.
Yep.
And Rhaenyra is like seeing these orgies going on with men and women, and she's starting to blush, and she's like, oh dear. Oh dear heavens. You know, and Damon, of course, he's not even flinching. This is his normal evening.
Yeah. This is a
This
normal
ain't even my
Tuesday.
whole night.
And Josh was already in the camp of, this is ridiculous, this is sick.
No, it wasn't. It was just every single scene. Like, they could have easily showed a quick scene and then it'd been over.
It was very detailed.
Yeah, so you get a
Full frontal.
I mean, you may as well go on the
yeah.
internet and just look up whatever you want if you're. That's what you're seeing in here.
I think they're gonna post these on a few hubs. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like a car tire, like a car hub. And but my point of that was they're gonna post those, and some people that haven't watched the show aren't gonna know the difference between it and the other stuff on the site.
Yeah.
And man, stuff starts getting weird. And but I actually was on the side with Zachary. Me and Zachary were arguing that, oh, this is nice for the story. Damon is. His little sister's about 18 now. And
I don't see how this helped the story at all.
No.
They could have easily just showed a few scenes in the brothel,
He
her
was-
having a good time, and then that was it.
he was getting her out. He was showing her what the big brother is, you know, sneaking the sister out.
Uncle.
Uncle.
Yeah.
That's her uncle.
That's
That's
right.
Sarah's
That's
brother.
right. That is right. You got that right. So he's sneaking the. They feel like brother and sister. Like
They do.
really.
Their relationship is
Is
very because they're very in common with each other. Like
their relationship just got a lot more complicated too.
No, but let me go with it. So it's just he's the bad boy, and she's never gotten to go out, and he's sneaking her out. You know, like even though they were in the pleasure house and whatnot, I still felt like, oh, cool. You know, like
he's letting her see the real.
yeah,
world.
and like letting her be wild.
Mhm.
But then all of a sudden, I completely changed lanes. Here's the big reveal of the episode. Damon, let me clarify, starts full on making out with Rhaenyra. And I went, oh my God.
In the middle of the entire brothel,
Yeah.
this happened, and it was oh gosh.
So
All right.
they started
So-
making out.
And meanwhile, while this is happening, and then he's pulling down her like pants and stuff.
Oh, goodness.
What happens is we cut to Viserys calling his wife into his chambers,
Into
I
the
guess.
chambers.
And then they're going at it.
They're getting
And then
it on.
you just got these scars all over his back.
I
And
think that whole scene was completely opposite in intent.
that
to
one
show
was
how-
necessary,
To
though.
show what bad shape Viserys is in.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh my
it's
God.
spreading. It's
Yes.
getting worse for him.
And the fact that the queen doesn't want to... She's not having a good time, pretty much, too. So it gets
She's
two things
miserable.
across. Yeah.
She's starting to find that the isolation, as usually happens when you're the king or queen, is starting to get to her.
Yeah. Unless you're Cersei.
But how about this? They're going at it hot and heavy. Damon throws her up against the wall, like as you do, and she goes to kiss him again, and he just turns away, just full on leaves her there.
Yeah.
After they do their thing.
Well,
And
they never did anything further. They only ever kissed.
no, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Did they?
Yes.
He pulled her pants down.
But,
But
they didn't do it. He,
Did
he,
they
he
not?
kept his pants on.
Okay, all right, that's different.
he did
All
that
right,
on purpose.
That didn't
It
bother
was
me.
well. Let me throw my opinion. I think it was a fully calculated move. That's why he left his pants on. He wanted that
Okay.
kid. He wanted that kid who was a quote little birdie to see her in a compromising position. And as soon as he accomplished that, he knew that was Otto Hightower's little bird,
Okay.
little spy.
That's why they paid
that
that
makes
kid.
that makes that scene a whole lot better for me.
Yeah, and then
because
they
I thought that they actually
well,
dated.
later on they confirmed it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens next is they go from that scene to the scene where she's going back home, sneaking through, like she pulls her pants up and she gets caught leaving the brothel. And she's
By this kid.
by this kid, and then she goes to
It was perfectly placed.
she goes past her what was it, the queen, her
King's Guard.
the King's Guard.
Sir Kristen Cole.
Yeah.
And then she barges in. He's like, what the crap's going on? I thought she was in the room.
And then she steals
and-
his helmet.
She steals his helmet after he threatens to go and tell her
The King's
father
Guard.
or
It was
somebody.
the King's Guard, I think.
Yeah, or Otto. Anyway, so because he thought she was in trouble, and
Or
she
her or something,
and so pretty much she brings him into her room,
by stealing his helmet and playing a game.
and then pretty much starts undressing him. And this scene dragged for about 2 to 3 minutes or more.
The whole thing I got from that scene was it takes a long time to put on a knight's armor and to take it off.
Yeah.
That's
And-
why Robert Baratheon had like a guy help him put it on. That's why knights have squires. I thought that was an easy job. It's a full-time job.
Yeah,
You gotta
especially when you're the
buckle and
size
fasten.
of Robert Baratheon. You're too
This
fat for Yama.
This is like
Is that how you speak to your king?
This is a harder job than being like an equipment manager in the NFL. I like to
love
trade
that
this.
scene with Robert.
Go get that breastplate stretcher.
Now! Oh, man.
You're too fat for your armor. Is that how you talk to your king? And then he went.
And then that other guy starts laughing. You know, the cousin of Cersei or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Lannister.
"Oh, you thought that was funny."
Lancel Lannister's who that was.
No, Your Grace. Like, you don't like the hands joke.
And then Ned said, "Haven't you tortured that boy enough?"
You heard the hand. The king's too fat for his armor. Anyway, we
So
gotta get
back to the episode.
I just love that whole scene.
So after a good while of getting the armor off with two people working on it,
Which dragged, by the way. They didn't need to have it take that long.
I think the whole point was that was like the foreplay or whatnot.
Yeah.
Why do we have to see the foreplay?
I don't know. Why do we do anything? Well, Sir Kristen Cole and Rhaenyra, they go at it.
Mm-hmm.
Full on, just
Defiled.
going at it.
Yeah.
And he's a true Dornishman.
Yep. He's a good-looking man.
Well, I mean,
You know what they say about those Dornishmen
I
and
wish
women? Well, it's all true. We saw it.
I wish she'd end up with him and no one else.
Well, who knows, Josh? What'll happen? But I think it's funny that like Damon got her all hot and bothered, and then Kristen Cole was just in the right place at the right time. She was all ready to go, and then Damon just like left her, and she was like ready to go. Then she's got this like
handsome
Dornish knight who she already trusts
Yeah.
in her quarters. And of course, past that, here comes the Game of Thrones. Isn't that what I said? It's all just a game. And you said a Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And this is where it got so true to the game.
I actually did love this part.
Where the little birdie, and if people don't understand what that means, it's a child who's a paid spy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Littlefinger's like trademark.
Comes to Otto Hightower and tells what happened, that the heir, the princess, was defiled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but you see,
In a brothel.
and Damon, his woman per se, comes down and reveals that she paid the little boy.
Yeah, to be there and to see that and to go snitch.
So Damon did the whole thing with Rhaenyra right in front of a spy.
And the entire brothel.
Well, perfectly placed where the spy that his wife paid to go tell Otto Hightower.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect plan. Well, what could Damon do to hurt his brother Viserys and have a claim to the throne?
Destroy the reputation of his
Destroy the
daughter.
reputation of his daughter, destroy the reputation of his rule.
Mhm.
And don't forget that right after that kid told Otto, that kid was spotted entering Damon's chambers.
That's what we just said.
And yeah, and then that lady paid him.
Yeah.
Damon.
Mhm.
To reiterate, it was
And,
perfectly calculated. As
and-
is a Game of Thrones
Yes,
political strategy. And House of the Dragon. So
And-
they pulled Damon up by his bootstraps. He's still drunk from the night before. And
Yeah, he's got a
threw-
Toss
wicked
him into the
hangover.
throne room.
They threw him in the throne, and he's laying face down.
Well,
Wait, we got to talk about
Yeah,
when Otto
beforehand,
told Viserys.
I know, but I just wanted to talk about Damon being hungover. Man, what did he do after that? He must have kept on going.
yeah.
But
Man, he's great.
Otto's,
He's carrying this
So
show.
Otto the next morning, because that happened late at night when that kid told Otto everything, and then the next morning,
I love
the
how
kid-
he's contemplating telling the king.
yeah, Otto went up there and told Viserys. He's like,
Disturbing news, Your Grace.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh no, the sea snake. He's up and at it again."
I think
huh?
I do it pretty good with my deep voice. I can do a pretty good Otto Hightower.
Yeah.
I think you could do it, but serious. Has she been hurt?
Has she been hurt?
I'm afraid it's more of a sensible nature. Well, do you want me to say it?
He's like, speak the
Go ahead.
truth. Go ahead.
Just say it.
Yeah. You've disturbed me at this hour with this news. Just speak plainly.
I forgot what he said.
And he pretty much said, well, Your Grace, the princess was spotted outside the confines of the castle, beyond the walls of the castle grounds,
Your Grace.
running around. And what was it? What was he called? The way she was dressed?
As a commoner?
Yeah, I guess.
It
that's
had
the
a
word
name.
Yeah.
Just a common way.
A
Yeah,
vagabond.
dressed as a commoner, yeah. And she was spotted.
It is with the utmost regret, Your Grace.
and then she
Your
entered.
Princess Rhaenyra has been defiled.
And then she entered, and then he says she entered a pleasure house with your brother.
With your brother.
And
Here,
the
you know
king's
what the
like,
funny
what
part-
happened?
Yeah. He said,
Lies.
you dare come to me with these accusations?
The thing about
After-
the
yeah.
thing about Otto Hightower is the hand. He's doing that for his own gain, like fully. But at the same time, he didn't pay that spy. Like the spy came to him, and he told the truth.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing about this episode. And
This was like a very lying episode.
yeah, and the
like,
funny thing about Otto is, sure, he's going at it for his own gain.
Mhm.
He didn't really lie or deceive anyone.
I don't think he's I don't think he wants the throne. I
think he's a good hand.
What I think he's
Yeah.
trying to do is secure his family and his house's place
in power,
in power.
well,
but
He's not
also
trying to be in power.
also
necessarily.
be an honorable hand. Because I
Yeah.
do think he's an honorable man that's also trying to position himself
Well, we'll
in a
get
good spot.
we'll get to that story in a minute.
okay, yeah. Because
So
I have a few things I want to say about that.
Yeah.
I think people are let's like on their high horse about Otto.
Okay.
Like he's
Alright.
literally doing what that job is.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's more like it's the hand of the king, but usually it's the hand that holds the knife that jabs the king.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But here's the thing: if Otto wanted to, he could have told the entire kingdom.
yeah,
what
exactly.
she did.
But that wouldn't be good
yeah,
for
he-
his son to become king. You wouldn't want to soil.
I know, but I don't know. I think Viserys is really overlooking this whole
Somehow
thing.
you have to. If you're Otto, you want your grandson to become king, but you can't defile the throne of Viserys' reign like to where it's in a weak position when your grandson comes of age.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I think they're overplaying it. All you had to do is take one look at Viserys, and time would do it for you.
Yeah.
But then that would leave Rhaenyra as the queen.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I think Otto is looking at this wrong. Because even if Rhaenyra becomes queen,
Mm-hmm.
his grandson and his family are still in the Targaryen lineage and are going to be on the court.
Mm-hmm.
You think that kid's not going to be on the court? Or maybe even the hand of the queen? Like, I mean, my God.
And he.
That's
knows
why-
He could
eventually
be a dragon.
Yeah,
That's
and
why
he could
I
become
don't
king
think
at some
he's.
point.
So
I
I
don't
don't
think
think-
he's wanting to push his power any further because I mean he's already in a good spot.
He accomplished it.
Mm-hmm.
His grandson is the son to the king.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is
And
it
one
that
more-
important for him to be on the throne? Even if he
I
isn't,
don't think he
he's going
wants
to be.
the throne. That's the thing.
No, that's the point. Is that he doesn't want the throne. He wants his family to be
He wants his-
established and in
Yeah,
power.
he wants his grandson to be the king,
Mm-hmm.
and that involves getting Rhaenyra
out of the
out
picture.
of it. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, I think you've overplayed your hand because even if Rhaenyra is queen, like your grandson is in
I
a
don't-
good spot.
I don't think.
But
he
it's not
wants...
good enough. You got to be the king.
Actually, I got another thing to say about that. I don't think
You
he.
got something to say?
I don't think he's against Rhaenyra. I think he's what's for better for the realm because he knows the realm will not accept a woman as the queen, and I think he
I think
sees
that's a little
that.
part of it.
I think he sees that,
That's
and
fair.
he's like, that's why he encouraged the king to have
Marry her off.
to
remarry.
to remarry himself, and
Because
to
it looks good.
it looks good for the realm, and he
That's
I don't-
literally his job.
I don't even think he would have been upset if he would have married someone else besides his daughter.
He literally did his job by making the king remarry.
Mhm.
Now he was trying to get her or him to marry his daughter,
But I think he would have accepted it
if he chose anyone else.
if he would have went with that Elena,
Mhm.
whatnot. Yeah. So you want to go to the scene where they drag Damon in the throne room and he's just laying
After-
face down.
After Otto said, "Were you like they were spotted coupling or whatever?"
Yeah,
And then the queen overhears this and then goes to talk to Rhaenyra
alone
in the garden.
Yeah,
Well, it just further goes on that storyline of them
Yeah.
two being.
And then they're
And
talking,
her
spot,
and
yeah.
Rhaenyra denies it, and she claims she's unspoiled.
But she's like a liar and a truther at the same time.
Yeah, so she
Not
was
by
telling the
Damon.
truth
yeah.
about
She
Damon.
said, she said nothing happened between me and Damon. That completely
But-
forgoes everything that happened with Sir Christian Cole.
Yes. So
Man, I
then,
don't blame her with Sir Cole.
Yeah,
then the
Oh, Lord.
King Viserys literally hauls his brother into the throne room
yeah.
with the guards haul him in there
Yeah.
and then
He
toss
looks
him on
like-
the ground.
He looks like a pile of crap. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going
And
He
on.
so
is so
after
hungover.
after Viserys literally
He starts kicking him.
literally after he called Otto a liar, he starts believing Otto, I guess, in his head.
Because he
And
didn't
then
want to
He
believe
knows
it.
something
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
And then he starts kicking him and yelling at him and stuff, and he's like, "I can't believe you've done this. You're a sick, black-hearted person, and you've been sitting here to destroy me."
And I was thinking
You
to
are
myself,
playing.
yeah.
And then
So you don't even deny it? Well, I need to know what I'm being accused of.
And
Before
then-
I can attempt to deny.
and then he literally says, "Wed me to Rhaenyra."
Yeah, he said, "What do you?"
Yeah.
Viserys says, "What do you want?" Because you obviously want my throne, and he says, "I want Rhaenyra I want to be wed to Rhaenyra."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "You're already married."
He's like, "I could have two
And he
wives."
said Aegon the Conqueror married twice. Here's what you need to understand. With Corlys Velaryon, who's an ally to Daemon, apparently,
Mhm.
with him seeking marriages in Essos, not Westeros, and they have dragons, if he, per se, defiles Rhaenyra or has perception that he has, well, marrying Rhaenyra to an ally won't hold the same weight because she's not, quote, pure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So everything he just did was good to take down Viserys, to not allow them to gain more strength.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was beautiful as far as the game.
And it literally took one night,
Because when you play the
Few
Game
hours.
of Thrones, you live.
or you die.
Yeah.
Who said that, Josh?
Cersei.
Cersei, the greatest game player of them all.
Yep. I loved Cersei. I thought she was great.
She made
She
every
was a
right
jerk,
move. It wasn't
but-
her fault that the Golden Company was a bunch of bums.
Yeah.
We didn't even get those elephants.
Yeah. Yeah. I was,
Lazy.
even
writing.
Cersei was disappointed in that, remember? And the Gold Company and their elephants.
That was one of the only times in freaking history, like Lord of the Rings, that with the budget and whatnot and where we were, you really believed there was going to be war elephants.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of the only times that I was like, this is going to be... And of course not. Why?
They lied to us.
Had to have time to write Star Wars. Couldn't...
And
figure that
then
out.
just to have that pulled out from under them, as they deserved.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So then we finally have this scene with Viserys and Rhaenyra, and he's like, he made a little joke to her, like, whatever you do in your spare time. Or, that's not what he said.
It doesn't matter what you did or didn't do. What matters
perception.
is perception.
Because
Yeah.
perception is reality.
Yeah.
If they see you as defiled, that's the...
That's all they
That's
need.
what they'll believe.
Yeah.
And she said, a man that's heir, that's prince, can have 12 bastards with 12 different whores, and it's not a problem. And he said, that is true.
Yeah.
But you are not a male. Oh, Lord. So
And-
she makes him a deal. She said, I will I will wed the sea snake's son, Lanor. Is it Lanor? We've only
Mantle?
no.
Well, we've
That's
only seen him
we've only-
twice.
once. Really, he was
Yeah.
riding a dragon.
Mhm.
That'll do it.
Lanor, I think it's Lanor. And anyway, she said, "I will do it if you fire Otto Hightower as Hand of the King." And I really didn't know what he was gonna do. And then we come to the final scene where he says, "It becomes oh so clear in my time of need that Lady Alicent was here," and I didn't know how calculated that was.
Yeah, he said it was a perfect distraction.
And
Oh,
my
no,
lowest
Your
time
Grace.
of grief, my biggest time of grief.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Your Grace, the hand has to.
Yeah, and when
I couldn't finish it because I was starting to laugh.
when Otto first showed up, he was like 5 days. He said, "What?" He said,
No, I got it.
You went from like being just a normal man on the court to being Hand of the King within 5
The
days.
second most powerful man.
Yeah, the second most powerful man in the realm in 5 days.
I think that is just coincidence, Your Grace. That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
he said, sometimes the hand has to tell harsh truths.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or what kind of hand would he be?
yeah.
And when he grabbed the hand,
The pendant
the
that's
pin,
on his chest.
Yeah.
pulled it off, I just was like, I didn't like it, man. I know
I know he's
I'm
making a
in
big
the
mistake.
I'm in the rare minority here, but I just Otto did not do anything wrong. He sent Lady Alicent in there to
Yeah.
comfort the king, and the fact that he fell in love with her, and the king chose to marry her. Even if he would have sent her in there, and the king wouldn't have liked her. I mean, the king chose, and that's what Otto said. He said, "You love Lady Alicent."
And
Yeah.
she loves you.
Yeah, and with the spy came to him to tell him about Rhaenyra because he's the hand.
So let's talk about what does Rhaenyra
God.
get out of this, out of Otto. Well, what we do get is
What you get?
a big thing where Viserys is not going to name
As of now,
his heir, his son, the heir because of Otto and his daughter.
what Rhaenyra
Possibly
did-
put tension between them
Yeah.
is what I'm saying.
What Rhaenyra did was she played the Game of Thrones better than Otto.
Mm-hmm.
The man that was pushing for her downfall the most, she just got rid of for a chess piece to move a chess piece to marry the sea snake's son.
And by the way, Damon
So
is the
she-
one in the lead here.
She said, I want you to think about the chess move. She just said she would marry another dragon rider
Mm-hmm.
And of old Valyria.
to knock the chess piece Otto Hightower away from
Her
the
plan.
one that is pushing for her downfall the most. Now that was a Game of Thrones move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, "I will do my duty as an heir and as a princess if you deal with Otto."
There's no one else pushing for her to be unseated as heir besides Otto.
Well, and the
Oh,
people.
man.
And the people.
Some
Yeah,
of the
but they're
common
commoners.
folk,
Yeah. But a lot
The
of
sheep.
people will follow Otto with, because of that, though. Because
Well,
that's tradition.
What's going to happen with Otto next? Is he going to... I think he's going to go join the Sea Snake.
That's kind of how I'm.
So you're gonna have-
I think.
You're going to have the Free Cities, Daemon, the Sea Snake, Otto Hightower.
I
It's becoming formidable.
I
Yeah.
disagree a little bit. Here's what I think's going to happen.
Okay.
Well, he
if-
can't go against his daughter and grandson.
If Rhaenyra marries
Behind her
the Sea
back.
Snake's son, then that's going to be a faction.
But what... How...
Well,
Well, let me ask
no,
you
wait,
this.
wait, no, hang on.
How's that going to work with the Sea Snake's son married to the Targaryens and loyal to Westeros? And he's going to have his daughter married to a bigwig over in Essos.
Well, hang on. This
How's
might
that going to work?
this might be something. Okay, so
Okay,
if-
okay.
Damon is in. He has the Kingsguard, or not the Kingsguard, the
Gold
the
cloak.
gold. The
Yeah, that's
gold
what
cloaks.
they are. You had it.
Yeah, he's got the gold cloaks, and
Not the gold
and
company.
he's buddies with the Sea Snake and his armies
Mhm.
Okay.
and dragons, right?
They went to
So-
war.
So that's one army, and then you have Rhaenyra, who will probably become queen, which will cause a lot of fuss, and that will be her army, which will be Viserys'
And
army.
surely Alicent
And then
will stay.
Otto will have his army of probably the north because they're traditional.
No, Old Town
and-
is south.
Well, people who the commoners. He'll have the commoners on his side, and those
He'll have
kingdoms.
the common folk.
Because a
of
lot of
Westeros.
kingdoms
I don't
had a
see it.
problem with Rhaenyra. Remember, a lot of kingdoms had a problem with Rhaenyra sitting on the throne. A lot of people in that room,
So
and
you
a lot of
think
different
he's gonna-
houses.
You think
So
he's
it's gonna
going to
be
call
a-
the banners?
I think it's going to be a three-way battle, and then the free cities might get into this, which could cause four armies to pop up.
I have two things. One, so now there is no hand to the king. So who will be named?
It's going to be.
That's gonna be the
no.
big
It's easy.
decision.
It's going to be that guy that he always asks the advice of when they're by themselves.
Yeah,
And he
that's
gives
fair.
the unbiased opinion.
It's going to be him, and I think he should be the hand of the king.
Yeah.
Or you could keep your enemies closer and give it to Daemon.
Yeah.
That
man.
that's actually the
That's
Josh. I know you hate these moves, but that's like the smarter.
Oh.
That's like the ultimate game. Like when you make an enemy like your right hand, and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Man, I don't know, man. That would be
Well,
weird.
keep
What
your
would
enemies-
You see, that is a
That
very
would-
dangerous play, but it's
because-
also
Keep your friends close and
Because-
your enemies closer.
yeah.
Then you'd have
You know what
him-
he's doing. You find
like,
out his
if
secrets.
he makes
Have
wrong
him right
decisions
here instead
under.
of going making deals with the sea snake.
Well, here's the thing: it makes it easier for Daemon to cause problems for Viserys, because the more problems.
He can cause problems right there in front of you, where you can stick your nose in it instead of behind
Well,
your back.
yeah, but here's
Yeah.
the thing: then the common people are going to revolt and say, "Well, you're not doing anything about this crazy guy."
I don't think that's ever even happened. I don't think the common folk have ever.
He literally got in trouble for slaughtering people in the streets.
Well, that was different. He was attacking the people on the streets. We're talking about.
What if he does it again?
Well, he can't because he
If
doesn't
he's the
have.
hand of the king?
He doesn't have that power to
If
do
you're
that.
the hand, you literally just have to be in there with the king.
The second most powerful man in Westeros is the hand.
Yes,
so.
but he cannot command the king's army. Only the king can do that.
Well, he
or-
had command.
Or
Well,
whoever
Daemon
he puts.
had command over the gold.
Or
Cliffs.
whoever he puts in charge
Well,
of the king's
That's
guard.
just a play, but if we're all being real, we know it's going to be the guy
Yeah.
that has the son that's the strong knight.
Who else would it be? I can't think of
Nobody,
anyone else.
unless they brought somebody
Do
in
you
you don't
think
know.
he would put Rhaenyra there? Kind of
No.
idea?
No.
No, she's the princess.
Yeah, she's already heir to the throne already.
So that doesn't make a lot of sense. Or he might go a little. They might go a little while to try to decide the hand.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool. I'd like that.
But I clearly think it's the guy that he always.
The unbiased.
Oh,
Or a
What,
Lan-
what if it could have been a Targaryen that's off doing something else and comes back or
What-
something? That would be pretty cool.
What if it's a Lannister?
A Lannister lion. It's not going to be, but look, I was just throwing that out. I think your choices are about two people, really.
Yeah. Or no hand. What if it goes without a hand and
There again.
then the Civil
They
War
have to
starts
have a
without
hand.
a hand?
You have to have a lawyer.
Well,
I mean,
know,
a hand.
I know, but what if they're trying to decide and then all of a sudden everything just crumbles?
Well, then hell, name one, an interim
I don't
hand of the
know.
king.
Interim hand. All right.
And also, we forgot a very important thing.
Well, we're
Probably-
not done.
Yeah, so we started off this episode with Rhaenyra sitting down and listening to all these people like
Oh
Give-
yeah.
try
We
to
forgot
compliment
my
their way,
favorite scene in
and
the episode.
try to like basically
This scene-
wed her.
This episode was so wild that I forgot about that.
Yeah. And so they're all like in a single file line, and they're all saying their piece on why they should marry Rhaenyra. And this one kid comes up, and he's like, "Oh, I would love you and protect you."
And he's nervous.
Yeah,
he's a nice kid.
He's a child.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and one of the other lords or whatever.
That was a Baratheon.
Was it?
Yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah, you're gonna protect her, you little weasel."
He's
and
like
stuff
the
like
big.
that.
He's like the big classic chubby 16-year-old that you see on every movie bullying
yeah.
The little nerd.
the Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah.
So he keeps he's berating him, and
Yeah.
the little kid he goes to turn
Yeah,
around
he
and walk
pulled-
off.
Yeah, after she says
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, and he says one final thing to this kid, that Baratheon, and the kid's like, "Let's get at it." And he
And
pulls
he-
his
You've
sword
insulted
out.
my honor.
Yeah.
And Rhaenyra literally is like,
Let's
all
go.
right, let's go.
Time to go.
And then they're walking off, and all you hear is ding,
Ting,
ding,
ting,
and then
ting.
whoosh, and then oh, and then the
That
crowd.
kid absolutely gutted that Baratheon boy,
Yeah.
and man, that was so awesome.
Yeah.
It was so true. Like it was so honorable. It
Yeah.
was like, I am trying to sell myself to the queen, and you're saying some punk egg crap to me. And he just turned and pulled the sword. He's like,
You've besmudged me and my family.
you
and
besmirched
house.
my honor. You've insulted my honor, and I
Yeah.
challenge you. And then he's like, I'll get you for this. And he did.
And he did, yeah.
And guess what? I guarantee you, no one in court will ever say a word about that kid
No,
again,
that kid
or his family.
That kid has won his place.
He
in
earned
that,
a lot of
That
respect in
kid,
that room.
kid comes from a very prestigious family,
Mhm.
an old line.
Yeah.
Man, I love that kid.
Yeah, I
he did
just-
exactly what he should have done. He
Yeah.
stood up for himself, and that Baratheon boy should have kept his mouth shut.
Yeah.
You can probably, edge him a little bit, but he went too far.
Yeah, he
And
kept,
for
he
wrong.
kept berating him.
I wonder if right there before he was dying, he thought to himself, I shouldn't have said that. I love how he pulled out a dagger and the kid pulled out like a sword.
Yeah.
Now, at first, I was like, that kid, I'm not sure. He doesn't look like he's good enough with the sword.
With
and
his family lineage, he's been training like Jon Snow.
and we're following Rhaenyra, and we
What was
hear.
his line again?
we
What
hear-
was his family? The kids?
I don't remember the name.
I don't even.
And
We
the
hear
only-
the squelch, and I was like, "No, the kid's dead." And we cut
That's
back.
what we thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we cut back, and the kid had vanquished his Baratheon counterpart.
Competitor.
The only thing I didn't like, I wanted to see something where Rhaenyra acknowledged it just a little.
Yeah.
Just a
Just like,
head nod.
good
Yeah.
job.
Just like a, yeah.
Impressive.
But she didn't do anything, and I kind of was like, what crap.
Dang it.
But that there is the episode. For a...
One final thing.
Yeah, didn't something happen at the very
The
very...
Magister, or whatever they're
Oh,
called.
yeah, the Maester.
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 He comes into Rhaenyra's reading of her book, and in her quarters, and the Maester, he brings in this
Drink.
ominous-looking vial.
Yeah.
He's like, I made it perfect
Yeah.
for you, and
It's tea.
yeah,
It's for the audience, it's a modern day Plan B pill.
yeah. And she said, "What is this? I didn't order this."
He
And
said too much and it won't render you clean, and
he's like,
too little it won't render you clean, and too much will
Mm-hmm.
kill you.
"Yeah, pretty much." And
And
he
he said
he's like,
it's
and he
made
said,
to get rid of mistakes.
"Yeah," and he said, she said, why did you bring this?" And he said, "Ordered of the king."
Mm-hmm. So Viserys brought it in, or had it brought in there.
Yeah,
Read
so
it.
he set it down, and the Maester walked out, and Rhaenyra stared at the bottle, and end credits.
That's pretty much it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I gotta say, for a season that's gonna have 10, 11 episodes, for episode 4 to just be that strong, I was very pleased.
Mm-hmm.
That episode had a lot going on. It kept me in it the whole time. Never lost me for a second. Like, I was so engaged. And for episode 4, I mean, you gotta give it its due.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's keeping up.
I mean, that episode for me was like a 93.
This one?
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Well, how much stuff happened?
I
And
mean, I agree. A
the-
ton of stuff
The
happened.
politics, like, there is like so many different chess pieces moving and perfect. Like, Damon had his chess game. Rhaenyra and Otto had their chess game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You have to look at it deeper.
well, I know a lot did happen, but the big, like, nothing big happened.
I thought a lot of
it was
He
big
fired
behind
the
the
hand of
scenes.
the king, and then
Yeah.
she agreed.
Oh yeah, we forgot to say that, didn't we?
No, we
No.
talked about it,
Oh,
and
okay.
Rhaenyra agreed to marry the sea snake's son. So, and she lost her virginity. Nothing happened in this episode.
It just felt like nothing happened. Like, I mean,
If you want to see
it
nothing
felt-
happen, watch
I
Lord
meant-
of the Rings on Prime.
I didn't mean nothing happened. I meant like it felt like a little, not a lot happened.
There was a lot going on, Josh. Josh.
It just
What
felt.
are you talking?
It just felt like that.
What's it take to please you? Does
Does
it take like a war?
No, like I wanted
Does
to.
it take Drogon just like roasting
I guess it
Lannisters?
just felt. It felt like we were stuck in an area.
What?
Well, that's
For
the,
me.
That's
We
the
are
point.
in the
Well, I know, but
King's Landing.
I'm looking
Here-
at it from
I feel like we're back
going-
on episode 1
Yeah.
where you just went
No,
off on
I'm
us.
100% legit on this because in like Game of Thrones season 1, we're like jumping from like different places and stories.
We
are
were in
happening.
the Stepstones the last episode.
No, he's talking about.
I know what he means.
Yeah,
It
he's
feels like it's all in like
in one city.
it's like
In the-
claustrophobic.
We were
in a
out in
room.
the sea the last episode, so of course this one's gonna be.
I'm talking about like in just one episode. Felt like it was all
He's,
in one
he's talking
spot.
about in one episode we're not going to different locations.
Yeah,
like-
we're not
like how
hearing
you'd
about
be in-
stuff outside of the
Like
castle.
where
a lot.
Josh, like
no,
Josh
I totally
is like,
get it.
we're in Winterfell, and then the next scene we're in King's Landing.
Yeah, and we're seeing how one's decision here is affecting one's decision here, and vice versa.
And
everywhere.
all I'll say on that front is they had a full-on battle scene out in the ocean in the last episode, and with it being season 1, we got to get back to King's Landing and build story.
Yeah.
And once you build story, we have 3 different locations to jump from.
Yeah.
But I know it doesn't seem like it, but we're only 4 episodes in. We haven't really built any story.
And you know what's funny? At this point
I mean,
now,
we have.
it
Yeah.
seems like to me we're not that time jump that's supposed to happen where we're gonna switch actors. I
Very
feel like
soon.
it
I
feels
don't
like
feel
it's
like
pushed
it's gonna
off.
happen soon. I think it's gonna happen
Yeah.
later.
It felt like
Season or episode 7 or something.
that's what I was thinking. Like with all this that's going on, it feels like they're gonna establish her a little bit more.
So we're not actually gonna get a lot of.
Last episode, I was like, this episode they're switching her.
What if they do it in the last episode? That would be odd.
I don't think they'd do that.
I know, but I'm just saying. What if they did? That would be odd.
Well, if you've seen
We're gonna
some
get
of,
more
if you've
seasons.
seen some of the trailers, it's for sure gonna happen because we legit have Emma Darcy as Rhaenyra in.
Did they show
trailers.
her off a lot in the trailers? Or just a little?
Enough to know
Enough to
that
be like, wow.
she's gonna be here.
Yeah.
She's gonna take over for the Queen, Millie Alcott,
Mm-hmm.
the Mother of Dragons. I'm just kidding.
Huh.
But I thought it was a fantastic episode. I thought the chess pieces moving were absolutely brilliant. If you looked at it for the grand scheme,
I think if you go out on it on face value, like you're saying, like when you first react to it, yeah, it's gonna be kind of off-putting. But once you start, once we've watched it, we've reflected on it, we've talked about it. Now we're seeing how it's all like weaving and intersecting together. It makes it, because when I had first finished watching it, I was still kind of like on the fence. It's like I'm kind of don't know where to think about this. And after talking about it, I feel like okay, it really has worked out. It's it's telling the story in a good way, and it's playing these chess pieces around.
So,
yeah, Josh.
So what is y'all's favorite episode so far?
Well, it's hard to say, and I'll say what I've said every podcast. I'm not to the point where any episode has been different enough to where I can really like let's just say the Rings of Power. There was 1 and 2, 3 is something else. Where this show, I feel like it's 4 consistent episodes.
Yeah.
There's
There's no pure winner.
I almost feel like a movie critic on this one, where I give it a 93, literally from just the chess pieces being moved and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where like a fan audience score, like Metacritic, whatnot, you're gonna give it a big score from the last episode, from the big battle scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one is going to be
I'm like a credit. I'm like the drama of that one.
yeah, like 60 for this one and a 90 for the last episode.
The fact that in 5 minutes, just go with me, Josh. In 5 minutes, she agreed to marry another dragon rider,
Mm-hmm.
marry one,
in a very powerful house.
and get rid of
and an enemy.
the number 1 threat to her in the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
In 5 minutes, just think of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my point. It's my stance.
All right.
You're
You want to move
sticking
on
to
to
it.
ratings, Zachary? You might not give a rating, Chase. Yeah,
I gave it a
until
9. I gave this episode a 93.
93. All right.
But yeah, I mean, I wanted to do it as a whole.
All right, Zachary, what's yours?
I'm thinking, funny enough, an 83. It's about on par with last week's. You know?
Totally different, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm.
It's on par for different reasons.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
I like it. I'm gonna give it a 70.
I say
I don't want
A
to say
70.
it's not the best episode out of all of them, but it's pretty good.
I gave the Rings of Power a 27.
here's my thing.
So a 70 for me.
The pros to me of this episode.
Did I say 7 or 70? Because I
70.
meant 70.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
thought that was a 70?
Yeah.
The pros.
I mean, that's not bad. 50's average on my scale. 50 is an average show.
the pros to me, funny enough, were like not the CG because we didn't really get any, not the music because we didn't really get any. It was all. This was a
It's
very
politics,
story-driven, politic-y, Game of Thronesy.
which
Yeah.
is very like,
That's what I wanted.
yeah.
It's staying in tune
You
with.
had
Well, the
you had
reason
brothels
why-
and politics.
The reason why I don't
It's
give it
Game of
anything
Thrones.
higher because we've seen it done better in
Have we?
the
He's talking
first couple
He's
seasons
talking
of
about
Game of
Tyrion.
Thrones. No, well, yeah, not just that. I'm talking about Tyrion. I'm talking about
I
Littlefinger.
made this whole argument last week, and y'all talked me out of it.
Well,
I'm not.
I think this is a little. I think it's been told better. This kind of espionage, insiders, politics game has been done better between Cersei.
Well, they were
That's what
also
I said last
Tyrion.
week.
they were also pros. These people aren't pros in a sense.
Well,
They're
yeah.
they're
I mean, you
they're
got a
been
hot head, a
established.
little girl, and then you got a king
A
who's
little
drunk and
girl.
in mourning. She's 18.
that's not exactly little.
If it was a boy, it'd be a little boy. That's the way
Again,
it
it's
is.
still not exactly little.
Back then, that would have been considered little.
No, little would have been 7.
Oh, whatever.
If you were able to have a child, you were fully a
Robert
adult.
literally called people that were like teenagers boys. Okay, I don't want to hear it.
Well, yeah, but he was an old man, and he was a character, if you will.
Mm.
Oh,
Well,
we're old.
I think that's my full thoughts and analysis on this episode, and I can't wait to the next one. And I'm not really thinking about the time jump. I'm just gonna. I've worried about that enough.
Like, if it happens, it happens.
If anyone's curious about why I give some of the Rings of Power, roughly the same rating as some of the episodes of
House of the Dragon.
the reason why I do that is because they're good in different ways. The Rings of Power has strong moments with its CG and its shots and its music, and then the House of the Dragon does a little bit better in the story. It has a lot better in the story. The story makes so much more sense. It's better written, better told, but the Rings of Power just look so much better. So
In like 20-second spans.
Yeah.
well, no, I think the whole thing looks good
And then
until they showed that stupid war going.
And then House of the Dragon has a dragon landing on a bridge on Dragonstone.
It looks pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, it's not the best, but
Pretty good.
it looks pretty good. It does. It's definitely.
Hear that on screen, on camera.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to be quiet when I moved my chair and it went.
Oh yeah, good luck
You're gonna
on
hear
that.
that on
That
camera.
chair. Actually, all of these
You're gonna
chairs
have to-
squeak. Mine is.
First thing we're gonna do if we ever get a studio is we're gonna get some chairs that are quiet,
Maybe
Yeah.
get a couch.
and I'm probably gonna
Yeah,
get.
we'll just do this on a couch.
Well, if we are gonna do that, we need some kind of swing like at the movie theater where you
Yeah.
can set the mic on the.
We just
You know
have
when you're
some-
sitting at the movie theater?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or
Have
you
some
could
boom-
you could
boom
have.
arms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually better. Yeah, you're smart. That's why you're the editing guy and
I'm the PC guy. I'm the production
yeah.
like coordinator, if you will.
All right, well that's all I've got on this episode.
That's
Yeah.
all I've got. I do recommend watching the show. It's really
Oh,
good
yeah.
so far.
We'll come back next week where you're gonna get another episode. the 5th episode of House of the Dragon. You're going to get another episode of The Rings of Power.
Aren't y'all excited for that one? Oh, it's going to be a dumpster fire.
You're as always going to get a weekly news, which I almost think has been our best content lately.
Yeah.
I feel like we're better than like Fox and CNN right now. Like I'd listen to us over them.
Yeah. We need to start talking about sports a little bit. It is football season. No, on a different podcast.
People are so flooded on that.
Oh, really?
You're going to get another PlayStation State of Play from Josh and Zachary here.
Yeah.
You're going to get a Clerks Trilogy episode from me, solo, this month. In November, you're going to get Amsterdam. In December, you're going to get Avatar 2. October, you're going to get a spooky theme month with your favorite spooky movies. Just a little bit of a sneak peek. You're going to get The Thing, Sinister, The Conjuring, and more.
Yeah.
You're going to get your favorite scary games on playthrough on Dumb Dominos YouTube.
We got Outlast already recorded and ready to go. We're just waiting on the time to release them. And also, I'd like to say I found a game that we could play on camera. I've been thinking about.
Here we go.
I've been thinking about doing
Stick
Visage.
to the script.
I've been thinking about doing Visage. So
Visage.
Yeah, I'll show you. People out there in Radio Land know what I'm talking about.
Is it known?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a known game.
I don't know anything.
It's actually really good.
Follow us on TikTok at Dumb Dominos and follow us on Instagram at Dumb Dominos. And for the podcast, you can listen to it anywhere you want to now. Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
SoundCloud.
Dumb Dominos Podcast.
I'd like to thank our host site, Anchor. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you.